Good morning and welcome to the Nobel Week Dialogue. My name is Adam Smith and it's my very great pleasure to be your guide to today's meeting on the future of truth. Now, one of the things we'll be discussing today is the question of what we can rely on. And no doubt we'll find answers to that question. But unfortunately, one thing we know we can't rely on are flight schedules. And I'm very sorry to say that our first speaker, Lars Hakenstein, Executive Director of the Nobel Foundation, has been detained in Stockholm this morning by a cancelled flight. So in his place, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Lara Sprechmann, Deputy CEO of Nobel Media, to read his welcome address. Lara.
Your Excellencies, dear Nobel laureates, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good morning. You're more than welcome to Nobel Week Dialogue 2017. When the Nobel Dialogue was held in Gothenburg in 1915, 2 years ago, I'd opened the event talking about the dark autumn that was behind us, with a profound refugee crisis in Europe. Regrettably, the world has hardly become better or more peaceful since then. We are now living with an acute threat of nuclear war in Korea and increased tensions in the Middle East. Human rights are being violated in Myanmar. Nobel laureate Liu Xiaobo was not let out of prison in China until he was dying. Our own societies, the Western democracies, also have problems. The foundations on which we built stable democracies and secured a rapid improvement in living standards are shaking. Exchanges between countries, migration and trade are being fought by populists. Science, indeed even knowledge and pure facts, are being questioned. The climate change issue is just another example, but a potentially fatal one. Hidden behind these developments are complicated processes. Although many people in previously poor countries have seen their lives improve, social and economic tensions in much of the Western world have increased. This trend has been reinforced by problems in the educational systems of many countries not contributing to more equal life chances as they did before. Digital progress, with all the opportunities it brings, also seems to divide us, pushing us into our own bubbles. Alfred Nobel stood for progress in the opposite direction. He believed in knowledge and science and in the opportunities to use them to build stronger societies, both more democratic and with better living conditions. He himself was deeply interested in the humanities, literature, and philosophy. He also wanted to help secure peace. It was with these ideals, these thoughts in the back of his mind, that he formulated his will and instituted the prizes that bear his name. This is the spirit in which we organize the Nobel Week Dialogue. We choose a topic. This year, the future of truth. What could be more important today? Together with some of the world's sharpest minds, including a number of Nobel laureates, we will discuss what the truth really is and what is required for the truth to become known and to become respected. Trust is a key issue, and there we're especially privileged. The Nobel Prize enjoys a very high level of trust. This gives us a special responsibility. Our task is to act in the spirit of Alfred Nobel for the greatest benefit to humanity. This is more important today than ever before in my lifetime. With the Nobel Prize, we highlight the fields that Nobel was engaged in, the contributions that are being rewarded, and the people who have received the prize. They become important role models. In addition, over the past 20 years, we have organized broad public activities aimed at informing and inspiring people. This includes a digital presence. During the week when this year's Nobel laureates were announced, we reached 13 million people a day through our digital channels, mostly young, and many women as men. We also run museums, and within a few years, we hope to create a new Nobel Center in Stockholm. It will serve as the base for both our large-scale local activities and our broader digital and international work. We could not do this without support from many directions. We use Alfred Nobel's money for the purposes that he explicitly stated in his will. For the rest of our activities, we need help from others. Our first and strongest supporter of the Nobel Week Dialogue has been Carl Bennet. But he's far from alone. The city of Gothenburg and the Västra Götaland region have supported us since we started in 2012. And it's therefore especially heartening for us to be here in Gothenburg again this year. Also important are Ericsson and the Stena Olsson Foundation. Thank you all for your involvement. Let me close by thanking all of you who are here today and who have got up early on a Saturday morning to be with us. Of course, I would also like to thank all of you who in many cases have traveled long distance in order to join us on stage or behind the scenes. You are the ones who made this event possible. I'm looking forward to today's exciting discussions. As usual, I'm convinced that Alfred Nobel would have done so too if he had been among us. Once again, a warm welcome to this year's Nobel Week Dialogue in Gothenburg. And before I leave the stage, please allow me to go back to my real self and say a warm welcome to you all, and thank you.